this computer. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Mirek.
Nice to meet you. This is Stephen Polczynski and law company. We represent Polish Chamber of Commerce Australia, of course. And we are meeting with Stephen today just to share a few insights about what is coronavirus affect the business world. But first of all, Stephen, if I may ask you about your background, your heritage, because you're an Australian company, but I understand you've got Polish background as well. If you could say a few words, please.
Sure, thanks, Mirek. Yeah, yes, I do have a Polish background with the name like Polczynski. I suppose that doesn't come as a surprise. My father was a young man who migrated to Australia back in 1949. His father was a Polish officer in World War II and had won a Medal of Honor in the Polish-Russian War of 1920-21. So he sadly was one of the Polish officers who died in Katyn during World War II. So having established that Polish ancestry, I had the good fortune of having an Australian mother as well as a Polish father. So I grew up as an Aussie. That's why I sound Australian and don't sound particularly Polish. And I've had the good fortune to get through university, do an arts law degree, and eventually have had 30 years in the law. Some 12 years ago, I established this firm, Polczynski Robinson, as it was originally known as Polczynski Lawyers. Yeah. And our firm does a lot of commercial disputes work, a lot of corporate advisory work. We're a boutique law firm based in Sydney and in Melbourne, and we are known for our expertise in the commercial disputes, corporate advisory, tax-related matters, property matters, and we're a gateway to business in Australia.
Yeah, excellent. Frankly saying, Stephen, because I had the privilege to meet you in person approximately 2 weeks ago in Sydney, I was really impressed with your knowledge about corporate world, with the law, and you shared with a few cases you have delivered in the past. So Stephen's business deals really with the big cases and serious stuff. Stephen, if I may ask you about your expertise on the current situation on coronavirus, on international business, on business in Australia, on the future of the businesses between Australia and Poland or Europe, a little bit wider. What do you think will be the effect? How it will influence on different sides of businesses from your professional point of view? If you could be so kind and share, please.
Sure. Well, look. One of the areas of specialisation our firm has is in insolvency work. Yep. Trade credit insurance and surety. We do a lot of work in that space for the underwriters, brokers, their insureds as well. We've been involved in a lot of corporate collapses over the years. We did a lot of work during the GFC in relation to insolvency-related workouts and recoveries on behalf of the underwriters. So we're pretty well armed to have a good insight as to what's going to be happening as we're in the coronavirus recession, which it's going to be. I'd say, and I was mentioning to you earlier, Mirek, before we started the interview, that the current environment, it's all about debt and the level of debt that businesses have. So if you at the beginning of this year had a big debt problem, well, your situation is going to be dramatically worse and you're going to have some serious problems. If on the other hand, you've had manageable debt, well, you're going to be far better placed to deal with the situation. I think interesting insights, like over the course of the weekend in Australia, there's been announcements that there's going to be changes to the law in relation to insolvency. So whereas previously there was 21 days before a statutory demand had to be complied with, it's been announced that's now going to be 6 months that you will have to comply with the statutory demand. The laws in relation to insolvent trading, where a director would become personally liable if he traded a company whilst insolvent, they're going to be put in abeyance in Australia for 6 months so as to enable workouts to take place informally. So I think the big message which is going to be coming out of Australia by virtue of the weekend is that workouts are the way to go, and using usual and court processes and the like are probably not going to be as commonly used as what they have been historically in times of pain such as these.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, interesting. So everybody, if you've got any concerns, deeper questions, we invite you to find and Google up Polczynski and Robinson Law Company. We'll provide some specific link with your website, Stephen. And I would like to thank you very much for sharing your insight, because it's very valuable, I believe, to all businesses. Probably we'll schedule another maybe open Zoom meeting with any businesses that would like you to ask you a question, of course, if you agree. So from my side and Polish Chamber of Commerce Australia, I would love to thank you, Stephen, very much for sharing. And that would be all from my side, yeah?
Mirek, thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with you. It's always a pleasure, and very, very happy to help with any further endeavours in the future, and look forward to chatting again.
Stephen, thank you very much for your time. Do appreciate it greatly.
Thanks, Mirek.